Act 3, Scene 1. Westminster, the King's Palace. Enter the King with a page.
Go, call the Earls of Surrey and of Warwick, and ere they come bid them all read these letters and well consider of them. Make good speed. How many thousand of my poor subjects are at this hour asleep? Oh, sleep, oh, gentle sleep, nature's soft nurse, how have I frighted thee, that thou no more wilt weigh my eyelids down and steep my senses in forgetfulness? Why rather sleep liest thou in smoky cribs upon uneasy pallets, stretching thee, and hushed with buzzing night flies to thy slumber, than in the perfumed chambers of the great, under the canopies of costly state, and lulled with sound of sweetest melody? O thou dull God, why liest thou with the vile and loathsome beds, and leavest the kingly couch a watch-case or a common larum-bell? Wilt thou upon a high and giddy mast seal up the ship-boy's eyes, and rock his brains, and cradle the rude imperious surge in the visitation of the winds, who take the ruffian billows by the top, curling their monstrous heads and hanging them with deafening clamour in the slippery clouds that with the hurly death itself awakes? Canst thou, O partial sleep, give thy repose to the wet sea-boy in an hour so rude, and in the calmest and most stillest night, with all appliances and means to boot, deny it to a king? Then, happy low, lie down. Uneasy lies the head that wears a crown.
Any good morrows to your majesty?
Is it good morrow, lords?
'Tis 1 o'clock and past.
Why then, good morrow to you all, my lords. Have you read o'er the letter that I sent you?
We have, my liege.
Then you perceive the body of our kingdom, how foul it is, what rank diseases grow, and with what danger near the heart of it.
It is but as a body yet distempered, which to his former strength may be restored, with good advice and little medicine. My lord, Northumberland, will soon be cooled.
Oh, God, that one might read the book of fate and see the revolution of the times make mountains level, and the continent, weary of solid firmness, melt itself into the sea, and other times to see the beachy girdle of the ocean too wide for Neptune's hips. How chances mocks and changes fill the cup of alteration with diverse liquors. Oh, if this were seen, the happiest youth, viewing his progress through, what perils past, what crosses to ensue, would shut the book and sit him down and die. 'Tis not 10 years gone since Richard and Northumberland, great friends, did feast together, and in 2 years after were they at wars. It is but 8 years since this Percy was the man nearest my soul, who like a brother toiled in my affairs and laid his love and life under my foot, yea, for my sake, even to the eyes of Richard gave him defiance. Oh, but which of you was by? You, cousin Neville, as I may remember, when Richard, with his eye brimful of tears, then checked and rated by Northumberland, did speak these words, now proved a prophecy. Northumberland, thou ladder by the which my cousin Bolingbroke ascends my throne. Oh, then, God knows, I had no such intent, but that necessity so bowed the state that I in greatness were compelled to kiss. The time shall come, thus did he follow it. The time will come that foul sin, gathering head, shall break into corruption. So went on, foretelling this same time's condition and the division of our amity.
There is a history in all men's lives, figuring the natures of the times deceased, the which observed a man may prophesy, with the near aim of the main chance of things. As yet not come to life, who in their seeds and weak beginnings lie entreasured. Such things become the hatch and brood of time. By the necessary form of this, King Richard might create a perfect guess that great Northumberland, then false to him, would of that seed grow to a greater falseness, which should not find a ground to root upon, unless on you.
Are these things then necessities? Then let us meet them like necessities. And that same word even now cries out on us. They say the bishop in Northumberland are 50,000 strong.
Cannot be, my lord. Rumor doth double like the voice and echo the numbers of the feared. Please it your grace to go to bed upon my soul, my lord. The powers that you already have sent forth shall bring this prize in very easily. To comfort you the more, I have received a certain instance that Glendower is dead. Your majesty hath been this fortnight ill, and these unseasoned hours perforce must add unto your sickness.
I will take your counsel. And were these inward wars once out of hand, we would, dear lords, unto the Holy Land.
Act 3, Scene 2. Gloucestershire. Before Justice Shallow's house. Enter Justice Shallow and Justice Silence.
Come on, come on, come on. Give me your hand, sir. Give me your hand, sir. An early stir by the rood. And how doth my good cousin Silence?
Good morrow, good cousin Shallow.
And how doth my cousin your bedfellow? And your fairest daughter and mine, my goddaughter Ellen?
Alas, a black ouzel, cousin Shallow.
Yea, and no, sir. I dare say my cousin William is become a good scholar. He is at Oxford still, is he not?
Indeed, sir, to my cost.
He must then to the Inns of Court shortly. I was once of Clement's Inn, where I think they will talk of mad Shallow yet.
You were called lusty Shallow then, cousin.
By the mass, I was called anything, and I would have done anything indeed too, and roundly too. There was I, and little John Doit of Staffordshire, and Black George Barnes, and Francis Pickbone, and Will Squeal, Pot's old man. I had not 4 such swingebucklers in all the inns at court again. And I may say to you, we knew where the bona robas were, and had the best of them all at commandment. Then was Jack Falstaff, now Sir John, a boy, and page to Thomas Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk.
This Sir John, cousin, that comes hither anon about soldiers?
The same Sir John, the very same. I see him break Scoggins' head at the court's gate, when he was a crack not thus high, and the very same day did I fight with one Samson Stockfish, a fruiterer, behind Gray's Inn. Jesu, Jesu, the mad days that I have spent, and to see how many of my old acquaintance are dead.
We shall all follow, cousin.
Certain, 'tis certain, very sure, very sure. Death, as the psalmist saith, is certain to all. All shall die. How a good yoke of bullocks at Stamford Fair.
By my troth, cousin, I was not there.
Death is certain. Is old Dougal of your town living yet?
Dead, sir.
Jesu, Jesu, dead. He drew a good bow and dead. Shot a fine shot. John a Gaunt loved him well and betted much money on his head. Dead. He would have clapped in the clout at 12 score and carried you a forehand shaft, 14 and 14 and a half. And it would have done a man's heart good to see. How a score of yous now?
Thereafter, as they be, a score of good ewes may be worth 10 pounds.
And is old Dougal dead?
Here come 2 of Sir John Falstaff's men, as I think.
Good morrow, honest gentlemen.
I beseech you, which is Justice Shallow?
I am Robert Shallow, sir, a poor esquire of this county, and one of the king's justices of the peace. What is your good pleasure with me?
My captain, sir, commends him to you, my captain, Sir John Falstaff, a tall gentleman by heaven and a most gallant leader.
He greets me well, sir. I knew him a good backsword man. How doth the good knight? May I ask how my lady, his wife, doth?
Oh, sir, pardon. A soldier is better accommodated than with a wife.
It is well said, in faith, sir, and it is well said indeed, too. Better accommodated. It is good, yea, indeed is it. Good phrases are surely, and ever were, very commendable. Accommodated. It comes of accommodo. Very good, a good phrase.
Pardon, sir, I have heard the word, phrase, call you it? By this day I know not the phrase, but I will maintain the word with my sword to be a soldier-like word, and a word of exceeding good command. By heaven, accommodated, that is when a man is, as they say, accommodated, or when a man is being whereby he may be thought to be accommodated, which is an excellent thing.
It is very just. Look, here comes good Sir John. Give me your good hand. Give me your worship's good hand. By my troth, you like well and bear your years very well. Welcome, good Sir John.
I am glad to see you, good Master Robert Shallow. Master Surecard, as I think.
No, Sir John, it is my cousin Silence in commission with me.
Ha! Good Master Silence, it well befits you should be of the peace.
Your good worship is welcome.
Fie, this is hot weather, gentlemen. Have you provided me here half a dozen sufficient men?
Marry, have we, sir? Will you sit?
Let me see them, I beseech you.
Where's the roll? Where's the roll? Where's the roll? Let me see. Let me see. So. Yea, marry, sir. Wraith, Moldy. Let them appear as I call. Let them do so. Let them do so. Let me see. Where is Moldy?
Here, and it please you.
Thank you, Sir John. A good-limbed fellow, young, strong, and of good friends.
Is thy name Moldy?
Yea, and to please you.
'Tis the more time thou wert used.
Most excellent in faith. Things that are moldy lack use. Very singular good in faith. Well said, Sir John. Very well said.
Prick him.
I was pricked well enough before, and you could have let me alone. My old dame will be undone now for one to do her husbandry and her drudgery. You need not have pricked me. There are other men fitter than to go out than I.
Go to peace, Moldy. You shall go, Moldy. It is time you were spent.
Spent?
Peace, fellow, peace. Stand aside. Know you where you are? For the other Sir John, let me see. Simon Shadow.
Yea, Mary, let me have him to sit under. He's like to be a cold soldier.
Where's Shadow?
Here, sir.
Shadow, whose son art thou?
My mother's son, sir.
Thy mother's son, like enough in thy father's shadow. So the son of the female is the shadow of the male. It is often so indeed, but much of the father's substance.
Do you like him, Sir John?
Shadow will serve for summer, prick him, for we have a number of shadows to fill up the muster book.
Thomas Wart.
Where's he?
Yes, sir!
Is thy name Wart?
Yes, sir!
Thou art a very ragged Wart.
Shall I prick him down, Sir John?
It were superfluous, for his apparel is built upon his back, and the whole frame stands upon pins. Prick him no more.
You can do it, sir. You can do it. I commend you well. Francis Feeble.
Here, sir.
What trade art thou, Feeble?
A woman's tailor, sir.
Shall I prick him, sir?
You may, but if he had been a man's tailor, he'd have pricked you. Wilt thou make as many holes in an enemy's battle as thou hast done in a woman's petticoat?
I will do my good will, sir. You can have no more.
Well said, good woman's tailor. Well said, courageous feeble. Thou wilt be as valiant as the wrathful dove, or most magnanimous mouse. Prick the woman's tailor well, Master Shallow, deep, Master Shallow.
I would Wart might have gone, sir.
I would thou wert a man's tailor, that thou mightst mend him and make him fit to go. I cannot put him to a private soldier that is the leader of so many thousands. And let that suffice, most forcible feeble.
It shall suffice, sir.
I am bound to thee, Reverend Feeble. Who is the next?
Peter Bulkoff of the Green.
Yea, Mary, let's see Bullcalf.
Here, sir.
For God, a likely fellow. Come, prick me Bullcalf till he roar again.
Oh, good my lord captain.
What dost thou roar before thou art pricked?
Oh, lord, sir, I am a diseased man.
What disease hast thou?
A whoreson cold, sir. A cough, sir, which I caught with ringing in the king's affairs upon his coronation day, sir.
Come, thou shalt go to the wars in a gown. We will have away thy cold, and I will take such order that thy friends shall ring for thee. Is here all?
Here is 2 more called than your number. You must have but 4 here, sir, and so I pray you, go in with me to dinner.
Come, I will go drink with you, but I cannot tarry dinner. I am glad to see you, by my troth, Master Shallow.
Oh, Sir John, do you remember since we lay all night in the windmill at St. George's Field?
No more of that, good Master Shallow. No more of that.
Oh, it was a merry night. And is Jane Nightwork alive?
She lives, Master Shallow.
She never could away with me.
Never, never. She would always say she could not abide Master Shallow.
By the mass, I could anger her to the heart. She was then a bona roba. Doth she hold her own well?
Old, Master Shallow.
Nay, she must be old. She cannot choose but be old. Certain she's old. And had Robin Nightwork by old Nightwork before I came to Clement's Inn.
That's 55 years ago.
Cousin Silence, that thou hadst seen that this night and I have seen. Sir John, said I well?
We have heard the chimes at midnight, Master Shallow.
That we have, that we have, that we have. In faith, Sir John, we have. Our watchword was, boys, come, let's to dinner. Come, let's to dinner. Jesus, the days that we have seen. Come.
Good master, Corporate Bardolph. Stand, my friend. Here is 4 hairy 10 shillings and French crowns for you. In very truth, sir, I had as lief be hanged, sir, as go. And yet, for mine own part, sir, I don't care. But I rather, because I am unwilling, and for mine own part, have a desire to stay with my friends. Else, sir, I did not care for mine own part so much.
Go to, stand aside.
And good master corporal captain, for my old dame's sake, stand, my friend. She has nobody to do anything about her when I am gone. She is old and cannot help herself. You shall have 40, sir.
Go to, stand aside.
By my troth, I care not. A man can die but once. We owe God a death. I'll ne'er bear a base mind, and it be my destiny. So, and it be not so. No man's too good to serve's a prince, and let it go which way it will. He that dies this year is quit for the next.
Well said, thou art a good fellow.
Faith, I'll bear no base mind.
Come, sir, which men shall I have?
4 of which you please.
Sir, a word with you? I have £3 of free mouldy and bull calf.
Go to. Well.
Come, Sir John, which 4 will you have?
Do you choose for me?
Marry then. Moldy, bull calf, feeble, and Shadow.
Moldy and Bullcalf. For you, Moldy, stay at home till you are past service. And for your part, Bullcalf, grow till you come unto it. I will none of you.
Sir John, do not yourself wrong. They are your likeliest men, and I would have you served with the best.
Will you tell me, Master Shallow, how to choose a man? Care I for the limb, the thews, the stature, bulk and big semblance of a man? Give me the spirit, Master Shallow. Here's Wart. You see what a ragged appearance it is? He shall charge you and discharge you with the motion of a pewterer's hammer. Come off and on swifter than he that gibbets on the brewer's bucket. And this same half-faced fellow Shadow, give me this man. He presents no mark to the enemy. The foeman may with as great aim level at the edge of a penknife. And for a retreat, how swiftly will this feeble, the woman's tailor, run off. Oh, give me the spare men, and spare me the great ones. Put me a caliber into Wart's hand, Bardolph.
Hold, Wart, traverse, that's.
Come, manage me your caliber. So, very well, go to, very good, exceeding good. Oh, give me always a little lean, old, chopped, bald shot. Well said, in faith, Wart. Thou'rt a good scab. Hold, there's a tester for thee.
He is not his craft's master. He doth not do it right. I remember at Mile End Green, when I lay at Clement's Inn, I was then Sir Dagonet in Arthur's show. There was a little quiver fellow, and he would manage his piece thus. And he would about, and come you in, rat-ta-ta, would he say. Bounce, would he say, and away again would he go. And again would he come. I shall ne'er see such a fellow.
These fellows will do well, Master Shallow. God keep you, Master Silence. I will not use many words with you. Fare you well, gentlemen both. I thank you. I must a dozen mile tonight. Bardolph, give the soldiers coats.
Sir John, the Lord bless you. God prosper your affairs. God send us peace. And at your return, visit our house. Let our old acquaintance be renewed. Peradventure, I will with you to the court.
For God would you would, Master Shallow.
Go to. I have spoken a word. God keep you.
Fare you well, gentle gentlemen. On, Bardolph, lead the men away. As I return, I will fetch off these justices. I do see the bottom of Justice Shallow. Lord, Lord, how subject we old men are to this vice of lying. This same starved justice hath done nothing but prate to me of the wildness of his youth and the feats he hath done about Turnbull Street. And every third word a lie, duer paid to the year than the Turk's tribute. I do remember him at Clement's Inn, like a man made after supper of a cheese paring. When he was naked, he was for all the world like a forked radish, with a head fantastically carved upon it with a knife. He was so forlorn that his dimensions to any thick sight were invincible. He was the very genius of famine, yet lecherous as a monkey, and the whores called him Mandrake. He came ever in the rearward of the fashion, and sung those tunes to the overscotched housewives that he heard the carmen whistle, and swore they were his fancies or his good nights. Now in this vice's dagger become a squire, and talks as familiarly of John a Gaunt as if he had been a sworn brother to him. And I'll be sworn, he ne'er saw him but once in the tilt yard, and then he burst his head for crowding among the marshal's men. I saw it, and told John a Gaunt he'd beat his own name, for you might have thrust him and all his apparel into an eel skin. The case of a treble hautboy was a mansion for him, a court, and now has he land and beefs? Well, I'll be acquainted with him if I return, and shall go hard, but I'll make him a philosopher's 2 stones to me. And if the young dace be a bait for the old pike, I see no reason in the law of nature but I may snap at him. Let time shape, and there an end.
Act 4, Scene 1, Yorkshire, Galtree Forest. Enter the Archbishop of York, Mowbray, Lord Bardolph, Hastings, and their officers. What is this forest called?
Galtree Forest, and it shall please your grace.
Here stands, my lords, and send discoverers forth to know the numbers of our enemies.
We have sent forth already.
'Tis well done. My friends and brethren, in these great affairs I must acquaint you that I have received new dated letters from Northumberland, their cold intent, tenor, and substance thus. Here doth he wish his person, with such powers as might hold sortance with his quality, the which he could not levy, whereupon he is retired to ripe his growing fortunes to Scotland, and concludes in hearty prayers that your attempts may overlive the hazard and fearful meeting of their opposite.
Thus do the hopes we have in him touch ground and dash themselves to pieces.
Now, what news?
West of this forest, scarcely off a mile, in goodly form comes on the enemy. And by the ground they hide, I judge their number upon or near the rate of 30,000.
The just proportion that we gave them out. Let us sway on and face them in the field.
Ah, what well-appointed leader fronts us here?
I think it is my Lord of Westmoreland.
Health and fair greeting from our general, the Prince Lord John and Duke of Lancaster.
Say on, my Lord of Westmoreland, in peace. What doth concern your coming?
Then, my lord, unto your grace do I in chief address the substance of my speech. If that rebellion came like itself in base and abject rotes, led on by bloody youth, guarded by rage, and countenanced by boys and beggary, I say, if damned commotion so appeared in his true native and most proper shape, you, reverend father, and these noble lords had not been here to dress the ugly form of base and bloody insurrection with your fair honors. You, Lord Archbishop, whose see is by a civil peace maintained, whose beard the silver hand of peace hath touched, whose learning and good letters peace hath tutored, whose white investments figure innocence, the dove and very blessed spirit of peace. Wherefore do you so ill translate yourself out of the speech of peace that bears such grace into the harsh and boisterous tongue of war, turning your books to graves, your ink to blood, your pens to lances, and your tongue divine to a loud trumpet and a point of war?
Wherefore do I this? So the question stands. Briefly to this end. We are all diseased, and with our surfeiting and wanton hours have brought ourselves into a burning fever, and we must bleed for it. Of which disease our late King Richard, being infected, died. But, my most noble Lord of Westmoreland, I take not on me here as a physician, nor do I as an enemy to peace troop in the throngs of military men, but rather show a while, like fearful war, to diet rank minds sick of happiness, and purge the obstructions which begin to stop our very veins of life. Hear me more plainly. I have in equal balance justly weighed what wrongs our arms may do, what wrongs we suffer, and find our griefs heavier than our offenses. We see which way the stream of time doth run, and are enforced from our most quiet there by the rough torrent of occasion, and have the summary of all of our griefs when time shall serve to show in articles, which long ere this we offered to the king, and might by no suit gain our audience. When we were wronged, and would unfold our griefs, we are denied access unto his person, e'en by those men that have most have done us wrong. The dangers of the days but newly gone, whose memory is written on the earth with yet appearing blood, and the examples of every minute instance, present now, hath put us in these ill-beseeming arms, not to break peace or any branch of it, but to establish here a peace indeed, concurring both in name and quality.
yet was your appeal denied. Wherein have you been gulled by the king? What peer hath been suborned to grate on you that you should seal this lawless, bloody book of forged rebellion with a seal divine, and consecrate commotion's bitter edge?
My brother general, the Commonwealth. To brother born, and household cruelty I make my quarrel in particular.
There is no need of such redress, or if there were, it not belongs to you.
Why not to him in part, and to us all that feel the bruises of the days before, and suffer the condition of these times to lay a heavy and unequal hand upon our honors?
Ah, my good Lord Mowbray, construe the times to their necessities, and you shall say, indeed, it is the time, and not the king that doth you injuries. Yet for your part, it not appears to me either from the king or in the present time that you should have an inch of any ground to build grief on. Were you not restored to all the Duke of Norfolk's seigneuries, your noble and right well remembered fathers?
What thing in honor had my father lost that need to be revived and breathed in me? The king that loved him, as the state stood then, was perforce compelled to banish him. And then that Henry Bolingbroke and he, being mounted and both roused in their seats, their neighing coursers bearing of the spur, their armed staves in charge, their beavers down, their eyes of fire sparkling through sights of steel, and the loud trumpet blowing them together. Then, when there was nothing could have stayed my father from the breast of Bolingbroke. Oh, when the king did throw his warder down, his own life hung upon the staff he threw. And threw he down himself and all their lives, that by indictment and by dint of sword have since miscarried under Bolingbroke.
You speak, Lord Mowbray, now you know not what. The Earl of Hereford was reputed then in England's most valiant gentleman, who knows on whom fortune would have then smiled. But if your father had been victor there, he ne'er had borne it out of Coventry, for all the country in a general voice cried hate upon him, and all their prayers and love were set on Hereford, whom they doted on and blessed and graced, indeed more than the king. But this is mere digression from my purpose. Here come I from our princely general to know your griefs, to tell you from his grace that he will give you audience, and wherein it shall appear that your demands are just, you shall enjoy them. Everything set off that might so much as think you enemies.
But he hath forced us to compel this offer, and it proceeds from policy, not love.
Mowbray, you overween to take it so. This offer comes from mercy, not from fear. For, lo, within a ken our army lies, upon mine honor, all too confident to give admittance to a thought of fear. Our battle is more full of names than yours. Our men more perfect in the use of arms, our armor all is strong, our cause the best. Then reason will our hearts should be as good. Say you not then, our offer is compelled.
Well, by my will, we shall admit no parley.
That argues but the shame of your offense. A rotten case abides no handling.
Hath the Prince John a full commission in very ample virtue of his father to hear and absolutely to determine of what conditions we shall stand upon?
That is intended in the general's name. I muse you make so slight a question.
Then take, my lord of Westmoreland, this schedule, for this contains our general grievances, each several article herein redressed, all members of our cause, both here and hence, that are insinued to this action shall acquitted by a true substantial form and present execution of our wills, to us and to our purposes confined. We come within our awful banks again, and knit our powers to the arm of peace.
This will I show the general. Please you, lords, in sight of both our battles we may meet, and either end in peace, which God so frame, or to the place of difference call the swords, which must decide it.
My lord, we will do so.
There is a thing within my bosom tells me that no conditions of our peace can stand.
Fear you not that. If we can make our peace upon such large terms and so absolute as our conditions shall consist upon, our peace shall stand as firm as rocky mountains.
Yea, but our valuation shall be such that every slight and false derived cause, yea, every idle, nice, and wanton reason, shall to the king taste of this action. That were our royal faiths martyrs in love, we shall be winnowed with so rough a wind that even our corn shall seem as light as chaff, and good from bad find no partition.
No, my lord. Note this. The king is weary of dainty and such picking grievances, for he hath found to end one doubt by death revives two greater in the heirs of life. And therefore will he wipe his tables clean, and keep no telltale to his memory, that may repeat and history his loss to new remembrance. For full well he knows he cannot so precisely weed this land as his misdoubts present occasion. His foes are so enrooted with his friends that plucking to unfix an enemy, he doth unfasten so and shake a friend. So that this land, like an offensive wife that hath enraged him on to offer strokes, as he is striking, holds his infant up, and hangs resolved correction in the arm that was upreared to execution.
Besides, the king hath wasted all his rods on late offenders, that he now doth lack the very instruments of chastisement, so that his power, like to a fangless lion, may offer, but not hold.
This is very true, yes. And therefore be assured, my good Lord Marshal, if we do now make our atonement well, our peace will, like a broken limb united, grow stronger for the breaking.
Be it so. Here is returned my lord of Westmoreland.
The prince is here at hand. Pleaseth your lordship to meet his grace just distance between our armies.
Your grace of York, in God's name, then set forward.
Before and meet his grace. My lord, we come.
You are all well encountered here, my cousin Mowbray. Good day to you, gentle Lord Archbishop, and so to you, Lord Hastings, and to all. My Lord of York, it better showed with you when that your flock, assembled by the bell, encircled you to hear you with reverence your exposition on the holy text. Then now to see you here, an iron man talking, cheering a rout of rebels with your drum, turning the word to sword, life, death. That man that sits within the monarch's heart and ripens in the sunshine of his favor, would he abuse the countenance of the king, and alack, what mischiefs might he set abroach in shadow of such greatness? With you, Lord Bishop, it is even so. Who hath not heard it spoken how deep you were within the books of God? To us, the speaker of in his parliament, to us, the imagined voice of God himself, the very opener and intelligencer between the grace, the sanctities of heaven, and our dull workings. Oh, who shall believe but you misuse the reverence of your place, employ the countenance and grace of heaven as a false favorite? Doth his prince's name indeed dishonorable? You have ta'en up under the counterfeited zeal of God, the subject of his substitute, my father, and both against the peace of heaven and him have here upswarmed them.
Good my lord of Lancaster, I am not here against your father's peace, but, as I told my lord of Westmoreland, the time misordered doth in common sense crowd us and crush us to this monstrous form to hold our safety up. I sent your grace the parcels and particulars of our grief, the which hath been with scorn shoved from the cord, whereon this hydra son of war is barn, whose dangerous eyes may well be charmed asleep with grant of our most just and right desires, and true obedience, of this madness cured, stoop tamely to the foot of majesty.
If not, we ready are to try our fortunes to the last man.
And though we here fall down, we have supplies to second our attempt. If they miscarry, theirs shall second them, and so success of mischief shall be born. And heir from heir shall hold his quarrel up, whilst England shall have generation.
You are too shallow, Hastings. Much too shallow to sound the bottom of the aftertimes.
Please, your grace, to answer them directly, how far forth you do like their articles.
I like them all, and do allow them well, and swear here by the honor of my blood, my father's purposes have been mistook, and some about him have too lavishly wrestled his meaning and authority. My lords, these griefs shall be with speed redressed, upon my soul they shall. If this may please you, discharge your powers unto their several counties as we will ours. And here between the armies, let's drink together, friendly and embrace, that all our eyes may bear those tokens home of our restored love and amity.
I take your princely word for these redresses.
I give it you, and will maintain my word, and thereupon I drink unto your grace.
Go, Captain, and deliver to the army this news of peace. Let them have pay and part. I know it will well please them. Hie thee, Captain.
To you, my noble lord of Westmoreland.
I pledge your grace, and if you knew what pains I have bestowed to breed this present peace, you would drink freely. But my love to you shall show itself more openly hereafter.
I do not doubt you.
I am glad of it. Health to my lord and gentle cousin, Mowbray.
You wish me health and very happy season, for I am on the sudden something ill.
Against ill chances men are ever merry, but heaviness foreruns the good event.
Therefore be merry, cuz, since sudden sorrow serves to say thus, some good thing comes tomorrow.
Believe me, I am passing light in spirit.
So much the worse if your own rule be true.
Word of peace is rendered, hark how they shout!
This had been cheerful after victory.
A peace is of the nature of a conquest, for then both parties nobly are subdued, and neither party loser.
Go, my lord, and let our army be discharged too. And go, my lord, so please you, to let our trains march by us, that we may pursue the men we should have coped withal.
Go, good Lord Hastings, and ere they be dismissed, let them march by.
I trust, my lords, we shall lie tonight together. Now, cousin, wherefore stands our army still?
The leaders, having charge from you to stand, will not go off until they hear you speak.
They know their duties.
My lord, our army is dispersed already. Like youthful steers unyoked, they take their courses. East, west, north, south, or like a school broke up, each hurries toward this home and sporting place.
Good tidings, my lord Hastings, for the which I do arrest thee, traitor of high treason, and you, Lord Archbishop, and you, Lord Mowbray, of capital treason I attach you both.
Is this proceeding just and honorable?
Is your assembly so?
Will you thus break your faith?
I pawned thee none. I promised you redress of these same grievances whereof you did complain, which by mine honor I will perform with a most Christian care. But for you, rebels, look to taste the doom meet for rebellion and such acts as yours. Most shallowly did you these arms commence, fondly brought here and foolishly sent hence. Strike up our drums, pursue the scattered stray. God and not we hath safely fought another day. Get some guard these traitors to the block of death, treason's true bed, and yield her up of death.
Act 4, Scene 2. Another part of Galtree Forest. Enter Falstaff and Colville.
What's your name, sir? Of what condition are you, and of what place, I pray?
I am a knight, sir, and my name is Colville of the Dale.
Well then, Colville is your name, a knight is your degree, and your place the Dale. Colville shall still be your name, a traitor your degree, and the dungeon your place, a place deep enough so shall you be still Colville of the Dale.
Are not you Sir John Falstaff?
As good a man as he, sir, whoe'er I am. Do you yield, sir, or shall I sweat for you? If I do sweat, they are the drops of thy lovers, and they weep for thy death. Therefore, rouse up fear and trembling, and do observance to my mercy.
I think you are Sir John Falstaff, and in that thought yield me.
I have a whole school of tongues in this belly of mine, and not a tongue of them all speaks but other word but my name. And I had but a belly of any indifferency. I were simply the most active fellow in Europe. My womb undoes me. Here comes our general.
The heat is past. Follow no further now. Call in the powers, good cousin Westmoreland. Now, Falstaff, where have you been all this while? When everything is ended, then you come. These tardy tricks of yours will one day, on my life, one time or another, break some gallows back.
I would be sorry, my lord, but it should be thus. I never knew yet but rebuke and check was the reward of valor. Do you think me a swallow, an arrow, a bullet? Have I in my poor and old motion the expedition of thought? I have speeded hither with the very extremest inch of possibility. I have founded 90 and odd posts, and here, travel tainted as I am, here have in my pure and immaculate valor taken Sir John Colville of the Dale, a most furious knight and valorous enemy. But what of that? He saw me and yielded, that I may justly say with the hook-nosed fellow of Rome, there, cousin, I came, saw, and overcame.
It was more of his courtesy than your deserving.
I know not. Here he is, and here I yield him. And I beseech your grace, let it be booked with the rest of this day's deeds, or by the Lord, I will have it in a particular ballad else, with mine own picture on the top of it, Colville kissing my foot, to the which of course, if I be enforced, if you do not all slow like gilt 2 pences to me, and I in the clear sky of fame o'ershine you as much as the full moon doth the cinders of the element, which show like pins' heads to her, believe not the word of the noble. Therefore, let me have right, and let desert mount.
Thine's too heavy to mount.
Let it shine, then.
Thine's too thick to shine.
Let it do something, my good lord, that may do me good, and call it what you will.
Is thy name Colville?
It is, my lord.
A famous rebel thou art, Colville.
And a famous true subject took him.
I am, my lord, but as my betters are that led me hither. Had they been ruled by me, you should have won them dearer than you have.
I know not how they sold themselves, but thou, like a kind fellow, gavest thyself away gratis, and I thank thee for thee.
Now, have you left pursuit?
Retreat is made and execution stayed.
Send Colville with his confederates to York to present execution. Blunt, lead him hence, and see you guard him sure. And now dispatch we toward the court, my lords. I hear the king, my father, is sore sick. Our news shall go before us to his majesty, which cousin you shall bear to comfort him. And we with sober speed will follow you.
My lord, I beseech you give me leave to go through Gloucestershire, and when you come to court, stand my good lord, pray, in your good report.
Fare thee well, Falstaff. I in my condition shall speak better for you than you deserve.
I would you had but the wit. 'Twere better than your dukedom. Good faith, this same young sober-blooded boy doth not love me, nor a man cannot make him laugh. But that's no marvel, he drinks no wine. There's never none of those demure boys come to any proof, for thin drink doth so o'ercool their blood, and make many fish meals that they fall into a kind of male green sickness. And then when they marry, they get wenches. They are generally fools and cowards, which some of us should be too, but for inflammation. A good sherris sack hath a twofold operation in it. It ascends me into the brain, drives me there all the foolish and dull and crudy vapors which environ it, makes it apprehensive, quick, forgettive, full of nimble, fiery, and delectable shapes, which delivered over to the voice, the tongue, which is the birth, becomes excellent wit. The second property of your excellent sherris is the warming of the blood, which before cold and settled left the liver white and pale, which is the badge of pusillanimity and cowardice. But the sherry warms it and makes it course from the inwards to the parts extremes. It illumineth the face, which as a beacon gives warning to all the rest of this little kingdom, man to arm. And then the vital commoners and inland petty spirits muster me all to their captain, the heart, who great and puffed up with this retinue doth any deed of courage, and this valor comes of sherries, so that skill in the weapon is nothing without sack, for that sets it to work, and learning a mere hoard of gold, kept by a devil till sack commences it and sets it in act and use. Hereof comes it that Prince Harry is valiant, for the cold blood he did naturally inherit of his father. He hath, like lean, sterile, and bare land, manured, husband, and tilled with excellent endeavor of drinking good and good store of fertile sherries. That he is become very hot and valiant. If I had 1,000 sons, the first human principle I would teach them should be to forswear thin potations and to addict themselves to sack. How now, Bardolph?
The army is discharged all and gone.
Well, let them go. I'll through Gloucestershire, and there will I visit Master Robert Shallow, Esquire. I have him already tempering between my finger and thumb, and shortly will I seal with him. Come away.
Act 4, Scene 3. Westminster Palace, the Jerusalem Chamber. Enter the king, in a chair, Warwick, Thomas, Duke of Clarence, and Humphrey, Duke of Gloucester.
Now, lords, if God doth give successful end to this debate that bleedeth at our doors, we will our youth lead on to higher fields, and draw no swords but what are sanctified. Our navy is addressed, our power collected, our substitutes in absence well invested, and everything lies level to our wish. Only we want a little personal strength, and pause us till these rebels now afoot come underneath the yoke of government.
Oath which we doubt not, but your majesty shall soon enjoy.
Humphrey, my son of Gloucester, where is the prince, your brother?
I think he's gone to hunt, my lord, at Windsor.
And how accompanied?
I do not know, my lord.
Is not his brother Thomas of Clarence with him?
No, my good lord, he is in presence here.
What would your lord, my father?
Nothing but well to thee, Thomas of Clarence. How chance thou art not with the prince thy brother? He loves thee, and thou dost neglect him, Thomas. Thou hast a better place in his affection than all thy brothers. Cherish it, my boy, and noble offices thou mayest effect of mediation after I am dead, between his greatness and thy other brethren. Therefore omit him not, blunt not his love, nor lose the advantage of his grace by seeming cold or careless of his will. For he is gracious if he be observed. He hath a tear for pity, and a hand open as day for melting charity. Yet, notwithstanding being incensed, he is flint, as humorous as winter, and as sudden as flaws congealed in the spring of day. His temper, therefore, must be well observed. Chide him for faults, and do it reverently, when you perceive his blood inclined to mirth. But being moody, give him time and scope, till that his passions, like a whale on ground, confound themselves with working. Learn this, Thomas, and thou shalt prove a shelter to thy friends, a hoop of gold to bind thy brothers in, the united vessel of their blood mingled with venom of suggestion, as perforce their age will pour it in, shall never leak, though it do work as strong as aconitum rash gunpowder.
I shall observe him with all care and love.
Why art thou not at Windsor with him, Thomas?
He is not there today. He dines in London.
And how accompanied? Canst thou tell that?
With Poins and his other continual followers.
Most subject is the fattest soil to weeds, and he, the noble image of my youth, is overspread with them. Therefore my grief stretches itself beyond the hour of death. The blood weeps from my heart when I do shape in forms imaginary the unguided days and rotten times that you shall look upon when I am sleeping with my ancestors. For when his headstrong riot hath no curb, when rage and hot blood are his counselors, when means and lavish manners meet together, with what wings shall his affections fly towards fronting peril and opposed decay?
My gracious lord, you look beyond him quite. The prince but studies his companions like a strange tongue wherein to gain the language. 'Tis needed that the most immodest word be looked upon and learned, which once attained, your highness knows, comes to no further use, but to be known and hated. So, like gross terms, the prince will, in the perfectness of time, cast off his followers and their memory, shall as a pattern or a measure live, be which his grace must meet the lives of others, turning past evils to advantages.
'Tis seldom when the bee doth leave her comb in the dead carrion. Who's here?
Health to my sovereign, and new happiness add to that I am to deliver. Prince John, your son, doth kiss your grace's hand. Mowbray, the Bishop Scroop, Hastings, and all are brought to the correction of your law. There is not now a rebel sword unsheathed, but peace puts forth her olive everywhere. The manner how this action hath been borne, here at more leisure, may your highness read with every course in his particular.
Oh, Westmoreland, thou art a summer bird, which ever in the haunch of winter sings the lifting up of day. Look, here's more news.
From enemies heaven keep your majesty, and when they stand against you, may they fall as those that I am come to tell you of. The Earl Northumberland and the Lord Bardolph, with great power of England and of Scots, are by the Shreve of Yorkshire overthrown. The manner and true order of the fight, this packet, if it please you, contains at large.
And wherefore should these good news make me sick? Will fortune never come with both hands full, but write her fair words still in foulest letters? She either gives a stomach and no food, such are the poor in health, or else a feast and takes away the stomach, such are the rich that have abundance and enjoy it not. I should rejoice now at this happy news, and now my sight fails, and my brain is giddy. Oh, me! Come near me, now I am much ill.
Comfort your majesty.
Oh, my royal father.
My sovereign lord, cheer up yourself, look up.
Be patient, princes. You do know these fits are with his highness very ordinary. Stand from him, give him air, he'll straight be well.
No, he cannot hold out these pangs. The incessant care and labor of his mind hath wrought the mure that shall confine in it so thin that life looks through and will break out.
The people fear me, for they do observe unfathered airs and loathly births of nature. The seasons change their manners, as the year had found some months asleep and leapt them over.
The river hath thrice flowed, no ebb between, and the old folk, time's doting chronicles, say it did so little time before that our great-grandsire Edward sicked and died.
Speak lower, princes, for the king recovers.
This apoplexy will certainly be his end.
I pray you take me up and bear me hence into some other chamber. Softly, pray. No, let there be no noise made, my gentle friends, unless some dull and favorable hand will whisper music to my weary spirit.
Call for the music in the other room.
Set me the crown upon my pillow here.
His eye is hollow, and he changes much.
Less noise, less noise.
Saw the Duke of Clarence.
I am here, brother, full of heaviness.
How now, reign within doors, and none abroad? How doth the king?
Exceeding ill.
Heard he the good news yet? Tell it him.
He altered much upon the hearing it.
If he be sick with joy, he'll recover without physic.
Not so much noise, my lord. Sweet prince, speak low. The king your father is disposed to sleep.
Let us withdraw to the other room.
Will it please your grace to go along with us?
No, I will sit and watch here by the king. Why doth the crown lie there upon his pillow, being so troublesome a bedfellow? Oh, polish for debation, golden care that keeps this ports of slumber open wide to many a watchful night. Sleep with it now. Not so sound and half so deeply sweet as he whose brow with homely big and bound snores out the watch of night. Oh, Majesty, when thou dost pinch thy bearer, thou dost sit like a rich armor worn in heat of day, that scaldst with safety. By his gates of breath there lies a downy feather which stirs not. Did he suspire, that light and weightless down perforce must move. Gracious Lord, Father, sleep is sound indeed. Is a sleep that from this golden wriggle hath divorced so many English kings. Adieu from me is tears and heavy sorrows of blood, which nature, love, and filial tenderness shall, oh dear Father, pay thee plenteous. My due from thee is this imperial crown, which is immediate from thy place and blood, derives itself to me. Lo, there it sits, which God shall guard, and put the world's whole strength into one giant arm. It shall not force this lineal honor from me. This from thee will I to mine leave, as 'tis left to me.
Warwick, Gloucester, Clarence.
King call?
What would your majesty, how fares your grace?
Why did you leave me here alone, my lord?
We left the prince, my brother, here, my liege, who undertook to sit and watch you by.
Prince of Wales. Where is he? Let me see him. He is not here.
The door is open. He has gone this way.
He came not through the chamber where we stayed.
Where's the crown? Who took it from my pillow?
When we withdrew, my liege, we left it here.
The prince hath ta'en it hence. Go seek him out. Is he so hasty to just suppose my sleep my death? Find him, my lord of Warwick. Chide him hither. This part of his conjoins with my disease and helps to end me. See, sons, what things you are, how quickly nature falls into revolt when gold becomes her object. For this the foolish, over-careful fathers have broke their sleep with thoughts, their brains with care, their bones with industry. For this they have engrossed and piled up the cankered heaps of strange achieved gold. For this they have been thoughtful to invest their sons with arts and martial exercises, when, like the bee, tolling from every flower the virtuous sweets, our thighs packed with wax, our mouths with honey, we bring it to the hive, and like the bees are murdered for our pains. This bitter taste yields his engrossments to the ending father. Now where is he that will not stay so long till his friend's sickness hath determined me.
My lord, I found the prince in the next room, washing with kindly tears his gentle cheeks. With such a deep demeanor and great sorrow that tyranny, which never flopped the blood, would, even holding him, have washed his knife with gentle eye drops. He is coming hither.
But wherefore did he take the crown? Lo, where he comes! Come hither to me, Harry. Depart the chamber, leave us here alone.
I never thought to hear you speak again.
Thy wish was father, Harry, to that thought. I stay too long by thee. I weary thee. Dost thou so hunger for mine empty chair that thou wilt needs invest thee with my honours before the hour be ripe? O foolish youth! Thou seekest the greatness that will overwhelm thee. Stay but a little, for my cloud of dignity is held from falling with so weak a wind that it will quickly drop. My day is dim. Thou hast stolen that which after some few hours were thine without offence. And at my death thou hast sealed up my expectation. Thy life did manifest thou lovest me not, and thou wilt have me die assured of it. Thou hidst 1,000 daggers in thy thoughts, whom thou hast whetted on thy stony heart to stab at half an hour of my life. What? Canst thou not forbear me half an hour? Then get thee gone, and dig my grave thyself, and bid the merry bells ring to thine ear, that thou art crowned now that I am dead. Let all the tears that should bedew my hearse be drops of balm to sanctify thy head. Only compound me with forgotten dust. Give that which gave thee life unto the worms. Pluck down my officers, break my decrees, for now a time is come to mark at form. Harry the Fifth is crowned. Up, vanity! Down, royal state. All you sage counsellors hence. And to the English court assemble now from every region apes of idleness. Now, neighbour confines, purge you of your scum. Have you a ruffian that will swear, drink, dance, revel the night, rob, murder, and commit the oldest sin, the newest kind of ways? Be happy, he will trouble you no more. England shall double gild his treble guilt. England shall have him office, honour, might, for the 5th Harry from curbed license plucks the muzzle of restraint, and the wild dog shall flesh his tooth on every innocent. Oh, poor kingdom! Sick with civil blows! When that my care could not withhold thy riots, what wilt thou do when riot is thy care? Oh, wilt thou be a wilderness again, peopled with wolves, thy old inhabitants?
Oh, pardon me, my liege, and for my tears, the moist impediments unto my speech. I had forestalled this dear and deep rebuke ere you with grief had spoke, and I had heard the course of it so far. There is your crown, and he that wears the crown immortally long guarded yours. If I affect it more than as your honour and as your renown, let me no more from this obedience rise, which my most inward true and duteous spirit teacheth this prostrate and exterior bending. God, witness with me, when I here came in and found no course of breath within your majesty, how cold it struck my heart. If I do feign, oh, let me in my present wildness die, and never live to show the incredulous world the noble change that I have purposed. Coming to look on you, thinking you dead, and dead almost, my liege, to think you were. I spake unto this crown as having sense, and thus upbraided it. The care on thee depending hath fed upon the body of my father. Therefore thou best of gold art worst of gold. other, less fine in carat, is more precious, preserving life and medicine potable. But thou, most fine, most honored, most renowned, hast eat thy bearer up. Thus, my most royal liege, accusing it, I put it on my head to try with it, as with an enemy that had before my face murdered my father, the quarrel of a true inheritor. But if it did infect my blood with joy, or swell my thoughts to any strain of pride, if any rebel or vain spirit of mine did with the least affection of a welcome give entertainment to the might of it, let God forever keep it from my head, and make me as the poorest vassal is that doth with awe and terror kneel to it.
Oh, my son, God put it in thy mind to take it hence, that thou mightst win the more thy father's love, pleading so wisely in excuse of it. Come hither, Harry, sit thou by my bed, and hear, I think, the very latest counsel that ever I shall breathe. God knows, my son, by what bypaths and indirect crooked ways I met this crown, and I myself know well how troublesome it sat upon my head. To thee it shall descend with better quiet, better opinion, better confirmation, for all the soil of the achievement goes with me into the earth. It seemed in me but as an honour snatched with boisterous hand, and I had many living to upbraid my gain of it by their assistances, which daily grew to quarrel and to bloodshed, wounding supposed peace. All these bold fears thou seest with peril I have answered, for all my reign hath been but as a scene acting that argument. And now my death changes the mood. For what in me was purchased falls upon thee in a more fairer sort. So thou the garland wearest successively. Yet though thou standest more sure than I could do, thou art not firm enough, since Greece are green, and all my friends, which thou must make thy friends, have but their stings and teeth newly ta'en out, but whose fell working I was first advanced, and by whose power I well might lodge a fear to be again displaced, which to avoid I cut them off, and had a purpose now to lead out many to the Holy Land, lest rest and lying still might make them look too near unto my state. Therefore, my Harry, be it thy course to busy giddy minds with foreign quarrels, that action hence borne out may waste the memory of the former days. More would I, but my lungs are wasted so that strength of speech is utterly denied me. How I came by the crown, oh, God forgive. And grant it may with thee in true peace live.
Gracious liege, you won it, wore it, kept it, gave it me. Then plain and right must my possession be, which I with more than with a common pain against all the world will rightfully maintain.
Look, look, here comes my John of Lancaster.
Health, peace, and happiness to my royal father.
Thou bringst me happiness and peace, son John, but health, alack, with youthful wings is flown from this bare, withered trunk. Upon thy sight my worldly business makes a period. Where is my Lord of Warwick?
My Lord of Warwick!
Doth any name particular belong unto the lodging where I first did swoon?
It's called Jerusalem, my noble lord.
Lord be to God. Even there my life must end. It hath been prophesied to me many years I should not die but in Jerusalem, which vainly I supposed the Holy Land. But bear me to that chamber. There I'll lie. In that Jerusalem shall Harry die.